Welcome back to Benny's Custom Works, proudly supported by Valvoline and Sparesbox. Don't forget Benny 5 on checkout. This week, we're back on the Crown. Today, the goal is to get the clutch and the transmission in the car, potentially for the last time. And we're going to start looking at our transmission tunnel options. So I do have a transmission tunnel section from a JZX 110. It looks usable, but I'm not actually going to know until we get it properly in the car. But to do that, it means we've got to strip the front, at a minimum, the front carpet, but I'm going to take a punt that the carpet in that is probably one piece front to back. The front seats have got to come out. We've already got the center console out, so that's less of an issue. But yeah, we've got to pull all sorts of bits and pieces out to check that. So I want to get the clutch and the gearbox in first, and I'll probably even put the tail shaft in, to be honest, and have a look at the whole thing as an assembly. And then yeah, we'll sort of start to look at the tunnel and see how much we've got to cut and add and move. That JZX 110 tunnel piece is quite large, so I don't want to use the whole thing. There's no point cutting out more material than we need to, so we'll work out how we can kind of stitch that into the car and sort of make it all look pretty neat and factory, and then tidy it up and seam seal it. But I don't know if we're going to do any cutting or welding today, but we'll give it a whirl. So let's dive on in, have some fun. Going to be weird chats today. There's always weird chats.
How's your search for new wheels on this going?
I mean, I'm still kind of tossing up what look I want to go for. I do love a good Convo Pro, but I do have them on the Cresta already, so it probably doesn't really make sense to put them on this as well. So I'll probably go either just some center lines or like the full face center lines or Mark 1s, depending on what I can get. The brakes are probably going to stay pretty standard on these. I might just do like a R32 brake upgrade or an R33 brake upgrade, because there's like a bit of a recipe on how to put that together on these cars. Well, when I say these cars, I mean MX-83s, but all the front end stuff is MX-83, so make of that what you will. I do have the Shockworks coilovers for this now too, so we'll need to pull the front struts out of this, because the Shockworks ones, you need to mill the original strut tube out of the shock or out of the spindle, whereas a lot of the other ones you cut up higher. But the good thing about the Shockworks ones, the way they do it, is you can actually, you can lower the car more, and because they're an inverted mono setup, you can still get to the damper adjustment through their weld-on system. So it is a pretty good system, and I do like it. But the issue is, for us, I don't have a mill, so I need to get someone else to mill the shock tubes out of the lower legs. So we're going to be whacking some coilovers in it pretty soon as well. And that's my phone.
Put in the comments if you've got any other really good suggestions for Benny to consider.
I'm trying to eat my Kit Kat here.
Are they the same in America, or?
No, the American ones are junk.
Why is that?
I think in America they're made by Hershey. Don't crucify me, but Hershey chocolate, it ain't it. The thing I will say, the Twix in America and the Twix here, pretty much the same. No complaints. And if you're someone of my form and figure, you will know that these things matter. Someone told me that I should have used the input shaft to align the clutch. That's why I didn't bother. Because Xtreme give you really, really nice billet clutch aligning tools. I'm going for the LS2. LS as well, not an LS2. The LS also.
Love the clarification.
Good chat. I don't have an LS2. And it's a misconception that every 6-litre LS is an LS2, because very few of them actually are LS2s. Especially in this country. I do love a good X clutch. X gonna give it to you. One person will understand that reference.
I got it.
But did you get it?
I did.
Do you actually understand it though?
Yeah.
Break it down for me.
Oh, you know, when you break up with someone and then...
Already lost.
Then I don't know. I didn't get it. Let us know if you got it in the comments. Comment.
Comment. So X is short for Exhibit the Rapper.
Good guy.
Yeah. Pimp My Ride fame. Poor dude got screwed so bad in that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I saw a documentary about, well, I mean, it's from his perspective, so take that what you will. But he basically said that he got paid very little, and then the cars weren't built to a great standard. And when there was a public outcry about how bad all the cars were, he was the fall guy, because he was basically the face of it. Even though he was the only guy that never actually did any work on the cars. He was the dude that took the fall. I'm happy that it's organic because I ordered it so long ago and then it sat because I didn't do the car for a while.
What do you mean organic as opposed to what, like synthetic?
Yeah, exactly
Material
that.
used.
Exactly that, Gian.
Sweet.
No, organic is.
Oh.
Well, I mean, you are actually right, but no one calls it a synthetic clutch. So it's like the brass button clutch or an organic. So that is what you consider organic, like the fibrous material that is probably 10 times the worse than asbestos, but no one knows yet. Nobody's gonna know. Eventually, they are gonna know. Pew, pew. Oh no, they're 12-point bolts.
Oh no.
Oh no, I do. My drag week toolkit's back finally. I was just like, oh well, that's the episode, real short. Conveniently, I have this whole other toolbox that went around the world. Insert Daft Punk theme tune here. What is that? Glad I found that. That could have been a bad time.
Oh, I hope this is not one of those you put the whole car together things.
No. That's some auto rubbish.
Righto.
But I'm still confused as to why it was there. Hashtag Toyota auto rubbish. Oh, I'm going to get crucified for using a chrome socket on them with a rattle gun. But here we are. I'm only going to use it to run them down, then I'll tighten it with another tool, probably a torque wrench. Click.
So you need me to
I
hold.
can probably do both,
Yeah.
actually. Oh, maybe not. You've got to commit, like...
I see. All right, let me just widen my stance.
Is your stance wide now?
Yeah.
Power stance?
Power stance is on. Ooh. Okay, I probably have to hold that more solid, don't I?
No.
Okay.
Because if it
sweet.
goes beep, we're torqued.
All right, mint. Hooray, I'm helping, as Zoidberg would say.
It's actually better tolerance than the stock input shaft.
Tolerance
which is
is-
good. Like as in the engagement from that to that hub is very tight.
Yeah. So specific, in other words.
Well, I mean, they're all made for it, but it's good that the tolerance is tight because then when we line up the twin plates, like the factory shaft will go in easier than the alignment tool.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Is there a balance mark? Yes, there is a balance mark. Now I've got to find the balance mark. There it is.
How much help does one person have to give in the build of the car to claim that they helped build the car?
I feel like you've touched stuff now. I feel like you can claim it. If that's what you're wondering,
Oh, that's what I was thinking.
like how much glory you can claim.
Yeah. I definitely helped you build this.
Yeah. You're here for moral support.
We've all got that one mate that rocks up, just stands around and claims to
Eats all the food and drinks the beverages.
and helps build the car.
I feel like I have a lot of those mates. I have been that mate too, though.
I mean, I
Some
think
days
that,
I just entirely refuse. It's like I do this every day. I'm not building cars on the weekend.
fair.
Not even sorry.
You're just there to yell the knowledge or
Yeah,
something?
basically.
Yeah.
I'll build a car from 10 feet away. Just to yell at people. Old man yells at the clouds. We're definitely going to have to pull the gearbox out again, I've just realised. Because when we do the tunnel, there's definitely going to have to be a bit of welding and seam sealing from the bottom side.
You were showing me a piece before.
The Commonwealth piece.
That's sort of what you're referring to.
Yeah, I mean, like I said though, the whole piece isn't going in the car. We're going to cut that up to kind of use sections from it. Because trying to put that whole piece in is just not, I mean, it's possible, but I don't really see the need in doing the whole thing if we don't need to. It's just more work
Yep.
in welding and then sealing and painting and...
That'd be a giant cut as well.
Yeah, I don't really want to just go chopping 600 mil of tunnel out for the fun of it. I like fun, but I'm not nuts. Just winding these in because I am going to torque these as well. There's a torque spec actually laser etched onto the cover, I believe. I think it's 19 Newton meters, 18 Newton meters.
What did you torque those last bolts to?
60 foot-pounds. Yes, I know we're mixing measurements. It's whatever the internet said to you, so that's what I did.
The risk in not torquing those down enough would be what?
Losing your legs.
I see.
Nothing major.
I feel like it's always got to be a cloudy day with not much light in the shop when we're working up in
Yeah,
tunnels
always.
and
Every time.
yeah.
can bank on it.
It's your fault today's not sunny.
It's always my fault anyway, bro. Everything's my fault. Oh, don't get flat now.
Right on cue.
I blame you for that.
I'll take that one, yeah.
It's alright, we can't use that light much longer anyway.
Oh yeah, it is kind of in the way of the cutting area.
Well, the gearbox. The gearbox has got to go in first. Yeah, but once the gearbox is in, we've got to pull all the tunnel and junk out.
So you're going to chuck the gearbox in, sort of like just trace around it, like we learnt in primary school, and then go for gold?
Not at all.
Okay. What's the most valuable thing you reckon you learn in kindergarten or preschool or very early stages? The first useful thing?
Don't eat sand.
I was thinking more like, squares fit into squares, circles fit into circles.
I mean, that's logical though.
Yeah, but I mean...
Eating sand, that's the go-to, bro.
Well, I think ostriches actually have to, when they peck and eat their food, they actually rely on the sand and dirt around it to actually...
As a digestive.
Yeah, aid. So your theory on, being taught as a human, you can't do that.
Are you an ostrigologist?
No, I don't even know why I know
I feel like you might be.
It's probably the only thing I know about ostriches. Oh, and they've got 3 legs. Or is it 2?
Sorry, what? Well, that's convenient. Probably the last time I used this torque wrench was to do a clutch.
Is it same torque settings for most clutches?
Well, Xtreme clutch all use the same bolts because they all have that same 9-inch clutch.
Right.
230mm clutch. Watch the internet have a meltdown. Where is my Nico? Chrome pen today.
I reckon that's got to be top 3 most satisfying car mechanic sounds.
$1,000 torque wrench.
Yeah.
It is a good torque wrench, I'll give it that. I've used this many, many times.
Followed closely behind that satisfying noise, I reckon, is when you undo a bolt and you can just hear that it's just...
When it snaps the head off.
Yeah,
I mean, you've got to spend 7 hours drilling the holes out.
Oh, I mean, each to their own, I guess. I was more talking about, when that real crack of it just, you've won because it's loose. That initial crack.
Rust belt problems. Not our issue in Australia. No car rust here.
Many people just yelling at the clouds.
Yeah, many people.
You're just going around to check now?
Yeah. Because the first few probably aren't going to be to spec. Because they would have been pulling the cover down.
I guess because there's play in that plate when you're tensioning the first few or something, or?
Oh, just because you've got to wind the spring down.
Ah, okay, so there's more resistance on that first screw
once the cover's clamped down, you're spreading the spring load across however many bolts.
Yeah, makes sense.
But to get the first one set, like that 18 Newton meters or whatever it is, the first few bolts are against the spring tension, whereas once you've actually bottomed it out, like the spring tension's probably more than 18 Newton meters. So you've actually got to compress that spring all the way using the other bolts in order to be able to torque it correctly. So I normally do 2 passes on the same torque setting.
That's right, I'll just get the... That was a satisfying sound too.
The watung does my noise.
Ah, man, you got me.
Now I need to put the gearbox on the stand. Hey, I found the chain the other day too.
Oh, where was it in the end?
On the top of my toolbox. It was a long way away.
What was the original theory? I can't remember.
That I used it to lift an engine, which is probably still the correct theory. But I don't know why it just sat on the top of my toolbox for so long.
Oh man, do you need a hint? Nope, clearly not.
It's only going short distances. Like onto the ground.
Let's see some bodybuilders do that on their own.
I think they'll be fine. I don't think I'm a measure of peak physical fitness, to be fair. We need to measure the clutch height, and we need to measure or set our thrust bearing height too. And we've also got to put the clutch lines in, because if we don't put the clutch lines in, no one's going to have a good time. And when I say no one, I mean me.
And me, because I have to watch.
Yeah, you're helping build the car.
Yes.
Well, they can go in the bin now.
Oh,
No, look.
I didn't pan the camera though.
Of course you didn't. Such a dick.
Oh, I don't see it in the bin. There it is. Real or fake? Let us know.
Let us know in the comments.
Let us know in the comments everything.
You gotta go hurrah as well.
Yeah. Let us know what you think about the number 1 and the number 2. All
Are
the
they
way
your
up
favourite
to...
numbers?
No. What about you?
I don't really have a favourite number. I don't get it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, just a number that resonates. Numbers that
A
have...
guy I know is like, oh, my lucky number's 14. I'm like, cool. Whatever makes you happy, bro.
I mean, I guess certain numbers have certain meanings, right? Associated.
Yeah, I mean, the higher the number, the more it is.
Yeah.
It's like a value-based system.
Oh.
I've already got the clutch slave cylinder installed. So we've got to measure the height. Measure the linear distance from the engine block bell housing surface to the pressure plate diaphragm fingers where the bearing will contact. 68 millimeters.
Is this you working out?
Well, I'm just measuring what they're telling me to measure at this point.
Right.
I don't understand
Right.
what we're doing yet. I'm just
Okay.
literally following the instructions.
Oh, so that's for that little
That's
random
to set
adjustable
the clutch height,
bit.
yeah.
I see.
So we've got the clutch bolted to the back of the engine as per the instructions from Xtreme Clutch. We do need to set the height of the concentric thrust bearing because it is fully adjustable because it's a somewhat of a universal bearing. It's not just designed for this application, so you do need to set the height. We've measured our installed height on the clutch. We've got 68 millimeters from the fingers to the back of the bell housing flange or the back of the block. And then we've also got 78 millimeters from the face of the bell housing to the clutch thrust bearing. So with some calculations, basically we've deemed that the clutch throwout bearing is too far into the bell housing. It needs to come out by 3 millimeters so that we can get our target of a 10 millimeter difference. So currently we've only got 8.5 millimeter difference, which is not enough. So basically that means we've only got 8.5 millimeters of clutch travel or clutch wear. So yeah, the target is at least 10 millimeters. So yeah, if we can get it to 75 millimeters, basically meaning we've got to move the thrust bearing forward 3 millimeters, then we'll be in spec and it should be all happy days. So we'll undo that and adjust it. Then we'll actually take all our measurements again just to make sure that my calculations are correct. Because I basically changed the numbers into the formula to do it theoretically, but I'd still want to make sure that before we actually install the box that it is all correct. Because yeah, I don't want to go prematurely wearing the clutch and also not having correct disengagement because it could either drag the clutch or it can do all sorts of other funky things. So we want to make sure that we do get that installed height correct. So we're going to take that out
I do need a few cutaways.
and add 3 millimeters to this height.
Yeah, that's cool. And then you lock it with that Allen key.
Yeah, so the Allen key itself locks the sleeve to the original thrust bearing release snout.
Yep.
And then this finger, which screws into the snout retaining, well, it was a retaining bolt. It's just like a pin that locates it. I actually have another one here conveniently. So that goes in there and stops this spinning and changing the height, but it also means it can slide up and down that pin. So that if when you're adjusting the height, it's not locking it into a height to grab the pin, like you've got tons of adjustment there. So we've got our sleeve at the correct, well, potentially correct height. So I'm gonna add another. $68 minus 57.5 equals 10.5. 10.5. So we're good on both aspects. So we've got at least 5 mil of clutch wear. We're allowing up to 5 mil or 7 mil of wear. And then we've got 10.5 of bearing travel, clutch travel, they're calling it. So both of those numbers are in spec. Still want to see 75 there. We have 75. Go banana.
Is that from something?
What?
Go banana?
Yeah, Simpsons.
Is it really?
When they're having the fruit race down the bus, And then they all roll the fruit.
That's right.
And then Ralph Wiggum rolls the banana and he goes, "Go banana!" And it goes,
that's
plump, and
amazing.
stays there.
That's
and
right.
Doesn't Bart's fruit get jammed under the accelerator pedal or under the brake pedal?
Oh my gosh! Right, you got good memory.
Isn't it?
I think so.
Is it orange or an apple?
Yeah,
Let
I'm
me
not
know in the
sure.
comments.
Drink every time Benny says, "Let me know in the comments."
Well, they'd only be drinking once for me. You've been the one making it rain down upon
true.
people. You're the let me know in the comments guy.
I don't know. I still feel like someone else on YouTube will top it. We should probably specify when we say drink, something of benefit to your health, like water.
Whatever makes you sleep at night, bro.
It'll help.
I feel like putting the clutch lines out here because, we've got so much real estate out of that. Oh, where's the exhaust? These are the things you need to think about building a car. Exhaust on the driver's side. Well, the other thing I can do, which we don't actually need to deal with right now, we can just mount these lines and feed them through, and then there's actually a cover on the bell housing for what was the original clutch fork. So I can probably actually drill them out of there and put rubber grommets in. Because I just don't like how it's kind of forcing the line. Oh, it's not too bad actually. We'll bolt it up and then leave it. That can be later Ben's problem.
You're always stitching that guy up.
Oh, he hates it though. It's worth doing it twice. Just ask Jeff. That's his saying. That's not a dig.
Okay, cool. So
No, that's his saying. That's a nice looking setup.
it does look pretty neat.
And then this line I'm going to assume goes up to the clutch. And all I'm going to need to do is get who knows? I could probably make my own clutch line too because this is for a Supra. This is for a JZA80. So this could go anywhere as far as length goes. So we'll see what happens because I don't even have a clutch pedal or a master cylinder yet. There's no point mucking around with this. But the good thing is that is just a JIC or an AN fitting. So it's easy enough to build a line from here out. It means I don't have to muck around in the bell housing. Another thing is, I'm definitely going to do that.
We'll be back after these conveniently placed ads.
So I'm going to put a quick release in the clutch line in the same way I did in the Lexus so that we can literally just unclip it. And once that's bled, it means we never have to actually bleed the clutch circuit again. So if we pull the box out, you just unclip it. They're so good. They're so handy for this sort of stuff because you just literally bleed it once. It's like a set and forget deal. So
because that's sealed even when it's unclipped.
So it's a dry brake fitting. So now that system's open, and then you can run fluid all the way from there to there. But the second you disconnect that, both that fitting and that fitting close off.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's so good. So yes, that is exactly what we're going to do. So I'm going to nip that up now. While I think of it. How's my brain just halfway through? Oh, you should do this and then run away. I reckon I have ADHD, hey. The internet is telling me that I have it.
Oh, did they say that?
No, as far as like...
Oh, yeah, like you look up your...
Not even, like Facebook's like ADHD things and it's like, I do all of that.
I feel like if you look into it far enough, I reckon
I suppose,
most people have
like
ADHD.
you can convince yourself
Yeah.
you're Jesus if you try hard enough.
Yeah.
Nailed it. Gian actually threw that. I'm surprised that there was no lube for the input shaft because normally you just get like a really thin grease.
That's odd.
What?
The
size in the tyre?
Yeah.
Oh, that's very Chinese.
Right.
A lot of Chinese tyres are like that.
So, but
No idea why, can't tell you.
Yeah, because after a bit that would just rub off, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's only the tyre size. Like, it's still on the sidewall.
Okay.
I reckon my theory is if they've got literally piles and piles of tyres, they can see what the size is. If they've potentially before they've got stickers on them, like when they're straight out of the mould or whatever, they might have 200 tyres piled up in the corner, and then it's literally on the tread, and it only lasts like, I don't know, 5,000 Ks or less.
I reckon that's a good theory.
Yeah, it's a good theory. If it is it right, nobody knows. Because a lot of like these Chinese tyres too, they make tyres for like 20 different manufacturers. So you get the exact same tyre with like High Fly, Kin Forest, Windrun, Lake Sea, like all the like red hot China names for tyres. Like they're all the same tyre. Well, when I say all, a lot of them are the same tyre.
I see.
Kin Forest used to be the go-to tyre, hey. I used to drag race on Kin Forest with my Subaru back in the day.
Never heard of it.
They used to work so well, like 225 55, no, 225 50 16. It was such an odd size, but they worked really well on stock GC8 rims, and they actually, like, they worked quite well as a street drag tyre that you didn't need to do a burnout with. I mean, obviously being all-wheel drive, it's hard to get anything to warm up.
Yeah, true. I never thought of that.
Oh, where are all the bolts? I'm glad we got our clutch height sorted, if nothing else. I was a little bit concerned about that, like having never done that before. That was the one thing I was kind of like, oh, I don't know how this is going to go.
Yeah, it does seem like a very convoluted process, or involved.
It's fiddly, but I mean, we got there. If I can do it, anyone can do it.
I don't know.
Because what I'll do is I'll fully seam weld the tunnel from the top,
Yeah.
but then I'll still do like tack.
Oh no. Oh no. That doesn't sound like a good.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
So we can't put the gearbox on, but the clutch on.
What?
Well, every time we put the box in and out, the clutch hasn't been there. So we've had three or 75 mil more of like just going straight up and on. Whereas
Yes.
now, because we've got the tunnel.
Oh, understand. Oh, that's going to be difficult to then measure what you've got to do for the tunnel, right? Because what you're saying is the gearbox, won't bolt on because the tunnel's in the way at the moment.
Well, the tunnel will still be in the way because I'm not cutting that piece. But I think all we've got to do is just unbolt the cross member and drop it down. Like, it's not end of the world. It's just.
I see.
It's just conversion things. But I did look at it and think we were home and hosed on this one, which we are not. Yeah, I could have used the red twisty stand, but I wanted them to match. Why? Nobody knows. Oh, that's rusty. I feel like we're in the ballpark. Yeah, that'll do. Mad. On a totally unrelated matter, I reckon you can just about change that thrust bearing adjustment through the bell housing. So that's contacted now. Like, we're pretty well on the dowels. Look, it's literally just, there we go.
Oh, wow.
Thunk. Where are our bolts? Now I'm gonna put all the bell housing bolts in this time.
Not just two.
No, not just two.
Serious question though, why? Why would you put them all in? Surely you
So I
don't
know that
need-
I've got them all.
Ah, okay.
Because they're Subaru centre bearing bolts. They're definitely not from this car, so I reckon they're bell housing bolts. But I'm kind of confused why I'm one short on that. Oh no, I'm not one short on that. That's probably a starter bolt, and the other one's hopefully with the starter. Anywho.
I'll take your word for everything you just said.
Yeah, good chat. So I've got two short ones, which will be those ones. And then these longer ones will probably go there.
Are these just generic bell housing bolts that you've got, or did this come from this car?
No, they're the bolts from the not Aristo, whatever it's called, GS300.
Ah, yes. How are those chains going versus the other ones that you had on?
So good. This chain's a lot finer. And as dumb as it sounds, like with gearbox jacks, you want finer chain, because if you're trying to pull this chain over the top, when it's tight on the tunnel, like, you want as much clearance as you can. Like, that other chain was much bulkier. Somebody in the comments told me to buy these wobble impact sockets. They're pretty good. Funnily enough, they came on special on the Magical Tool Truck. Not long after, old mate's like, you should buy these. I wonder if it was the local Snap-on dude. He's like, in the comments, just planting the seed.
If so, genius.
Yeah, marketing level 1000. Yeah, I reckon I actually need to put those bell housing bolts at the top in with the crossmember down. Later Ben's problem. Well, I mean, we know now the box is coming back out, so being the fact that it's now got 6 bolts in it, not 2, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I guess any number upwards of 2 is better than 2.
Yeah, more than 2 is good.
Goes back to that value system that you were talking about earlier.
Now I have to pull the interior out because I said I was going to. Oh, why did I commit to that?
So what's next?
I might put tail shaft bolts in because it's annoying me now. Actually, I think there's some in my bolt tray. BRZ parts bin for the win, as long as I can find 4 of them. So that's the bolt we're looking for. BRZ tail shaft bolt, which is the same as every other Toyota for like 20 years.
There you go. Be sure to keep my eyes peeled.
There it isn't. Hey, we've got 3. If there's 3, there's 4. Because there's either going to be none or 4.
That does not look light.
It's not really. Just want to lube it because there's going to be absolutely no lube on the slip yoke, and it's also got a little bit of corrosion, but it'll be fine. Oh, damn it. The gearbox is in 4th.
How do you even know, and why does that matter?
I know it's in gear because I can't spin the tail shaft.
Oh, yes, righto. But it's fine because you spun the diff.
Yeah, but I still need to spin it to tighten the bolts, really.
Yeah, right.
So I think I'm just going to leave the bolts in finger tight.
Hopefully you remember that later.
Well, the box is
Later,
coming
Ben.
out,
Yeah, true.
but at least I can now actually like properly install everything and look at it and go, yeah, that's going to work.
Yeah. This is cool. It's really coming along.
Sort of.
It feels it at this point.
I do think so. Just going to nip that up. So now we've got our clutch line and our bleed line. Like I said, potentially we'll run them out of that cover there later on, depending on exactly where that's going to run, but that is also a later bend problem. It's a lot of later bend problems. So I'll bring it down now, pull out the front seats and the carpet. Probably just fold the carpet back, to be honest. I don't think we need to pull it all the way out.
Cool. See how we go. By we, I mean you. For once, it's actually quite warm here in Mittagong today.
Yeah, you've only got pants on, you weirdo.
Yeah.
I mean, he's also got a shirt on, relax. I meant as in, he has pants, not shorts. I think that can officially just go in the bin. I really don't see a need to retain that. It's going to touch you. It's going to touch you.
Oh, God.
Now we're in neutral, because it's in neutral.
How did you do that?
Just put it in neutral with my extension,
I see.
because I had it jammed in 4th, like that.
Yep.
And then I've just done these ones. And now it's in neutral.
Cool.
You can tell because it's floppy donkey.
What do you even need a shifter in there for then?
Well, I mean, I doubt you're going to be able to do that with any great finesse if you're driving.
That is a good one. It's got the wheels.
No, this is a junk one.
Oh. Yeah,
Because you look at them too hard and the bottom explodes out of them.
Yeah, and the sides all crack off. That is a good one. It's got the wheels.
No, this is a junk one.
Oh. Yeah,
Because you look at them too hard and the bottom explodes out of them.
Yeah, and the sides all crack off.
Something funky going on under the floor here. It's got a real weird like channel in the floor. I wonder if that's where the forbidden orange rope ran. You know what I thoroughly dislike storing? It's seats. They're just never particularly convenient to store anywhere.
We've all got that random seat sitting somewhere.
I'm pretty sure your random seat sitting somewhere is sitting here.
Yeah. Convenient for me.
You're not even dealing with it.
I was literally going to say.
Oh, it's aircon duct. That's very intrusive on the cabin. People must be over this car by now, other than me. I feel committed to finish it in some capacity at least.
There must be a lot of pressure knowing that because we've started filming this, you have to somehow complete it.
Nah, I'll just go full American YouTube and make up some story. Someone stole my non-running shell, but magically I still have all the running gear out of it. Why do you hate me? Well, there's Yen. Not the first one to pull this carpet out.
It's got like a very strange smell to it, but like I can't decide if it's good or bad.
50 Yen, look out.
What? That looks like a washer. Oh, got that.
Did I just get you?
Yeah.
So
You're not sorry.
nah, definitely a lot more going on in here than I anticipated.
What were you saying this duct is?
Aircon, like rear feet vents.
Oh, wow. There you go.
It's pretty normal.
I suppose this is the kind of thing that Japanese car manufacturers may consider over, like, because they've obviously got snow, lots of snow and cold weather.
What? Oh, the aircon thing.
Yeah, just like little bits and pieces like that. That's, I don't know, like you wouldn't find maybe in other climates.
Yeah, maybe.
Just speculating, knowing nothing about cars really. Only mainly ostriches.
Yeah. So glad I didn't just drop one of those screws down into the gearbox. Could have been on the cards for sure.
At what point did that cross your mind, out of curiosity?
When I dropped one of the screws. Another one.
DJ Khaled.
Getting grumpy. So this is actually going to be a little bit more involved than I'd anticipated. I didn't really think about the seat crossmember location in relation to the shifter hole. So I think what I'm actually going to have to do is unpick a part of the seat crossmember. We're going to have to basically cut the top section of it out, unpick it, put part of this in. There's no way I'm going to use the whole thing. Looking at it now, it's actually, although these are very different cars, the tunnel donor versus this car, the widths are actually quite similar. So I think I'll probably cut it through here somewhere pretty close to the shifter hole, and then we'll try and retain as much of this part as we can to about, well, pretty much to the edge of the transmission, or sorry, I should say the seat crossmember, to just tie all that back together. Because yeah, I think trying to reuse that whole piece in its entirety is never going to happen, and there's actually no need to anyway, because a lot of it's just kind of flat sheet that's going to get in the way. The other thing I do need to retain, there's 2 plastic inserts in the tunnel that mount the center console, so I want to keep that in the same position so that we know where the console can go back in. I don't actually have a center console yet because the console we have is auto only, because there's no provision for a handbrake. So we do need to get I think it's a SY13 Crown console. We also need to get the pedal box, so for both obviously the clutch pedal and the brake pedal, and we need a clutch master cylinder. But I do need to ask Xtreme if we can use a standard style Toyota one, or if we need to go to a 3/4 clutch master cylinder like an LS style concentric slave, because yeah, there's no, I think it's just going to use a standard Toyota one because of the fact that it comes with, it's supposed to be a direct replacement for a JZA80, but I do still need to find out what clutch master board diameter they recommend. So yeah, a little bit of research, but yeah, next episode we're going to attack the tunnel. I'll probably do a lot of measuring and a little bit of cutting with the box in. Then we'll actually pull the box out so that we don't fill the whole thing with metal shavings and weld junk. Then we can actually also weld the tunnel from both sides, because I will most likely weld it from the top pretty much in its entirety. And then we'll probably weld 25mm weld every couple of inches, or every 50 millimeters, just to tie it all together. Then we'll seam seal the bottom and we'll seam seal the top, and we'll just paint it just cans. Like, it doesn't need to be anything more than that. We may even stone guard the tunnel, because there is stone guard in that tunnel anyway, so try and give it as much of an OEM finish as possible, just to kind of tie it all together. But yeah, I think this will work pretty well. I did actually muck around with this tunnel piece the other day as well on the gearbox out of the car, and it does clear both the reverse lockout and the detent for the neutral position. So yeah, the width is correct, so it should work pretty well. But yeah, a little bit more work in this than I had anticipated. So yeah, I think we're going to leave it for next week. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.